There is no hunting like the hunting of man, and those who have hunted armed men long enough and liked it, never care for anything else thereafter. Always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. Courage is grace under pressure. The first panacea for a mismanaged nation is inflation of the currency, the second is war. Both bring a temporary prosperity, both bring a permanent ruin. But both are the refuge of political and economic opportunists. An intelligent man is sometimes forced to be drunk to spend time with his fools. Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. When you go to war as a boy, you have a great illusion of immortality. Other people get killed, not you. Then, when you are badly wounded the first time, you lose that illusion, and you know it can happen to you. I love sleep. My life has the tendency to fall apart when I'm awake, you know? You're beautiful, like a mayfly. There is no lonelier man in death, except the suicide, than that man who has lived many years with a good wife and then outlived her. If two people love each other, there can be no happy end to it. Happiness in intelligent people is the rarest thing I know. All things truly wicked start from innocence. Hesitation increases in relation to risk in equal proportion to age. Madam, all stories, if continued far enough, end in death, and he is no true storyteller who would keep that from you. I love to go to the zoo. But not on Sunday. I don't like to see the people making fun of the animals, when it should be the other way around. I learned never to empty the well of my writing, but always to stop when there was still something there in the deep part of the well, and let it refill at night from the springs that fed it. When people talk, listen completely. Most people never listen. The game of golf would lose a great deal if croquet mallets and billiard cues were allowed on the putting green. It's none of their business that you have to learn how to write. Let them think you were born that way. Prose is architecture, not interior decoration, and the Baroque is over. All good books have one thing in common: they are truer than if they had really happened. My aim is to put down on paper what I see and what I feel in the best and simplest way. Once we have a war, there is only one thing to do. It must be won. For defeat brings worse things than any that can ever happen in war. When you have shot one bird flying, you have shot all birds flying. They are all different and they fly in different ways, but the sensation is the same, and the last one is as good as the first. The good parts of a book may be only something a writer is lucky enough to overhear, or it may be the wreck of his whole damn life, and one is as good as the other. His talent was as natural as the pattern that was made by the dust on a butterfly's wings. At one time he understood it no more than the butterfly did, and he did not know when it was brushed or marred. But man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed but not defeated. There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. The world breaks everyone, And afterward, some are strong at the broken places. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. I like to listen. I have learned a great deal from listening carefully. Most people never listen. Never mistake motion for action. We are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. The world is a fine place and worth the fighting for, and I hate very much to leave it. In modern war, you will die like a dog for no good reason. What is moral is what you feel good after, and what is immoral is what you feel bad after. Never think that war, no matter how necessary, nor how justified, is not a crime. The shortest answer is doing the thing. Time is the least thing we have of. As you get older, it is harder to have heroes, but it is sort of necessary. The only thing that could spoil a day was people. People were always the limiters of happiness, except for the very few that were as good as spring itself. If you are lucky enough to have lived in Paris as a young man, then wherever you go for the rest of your life it stays with you, for Paris is a movable feast. If a writer knows enough about what he is writing about, he may omit things that he knows. The dignity of movement of an iceberg is due to only 1/9 of it being above water. Fear of death increases in exact proportion to increase in wealth. If you have a success, you have it for the wrong reasons. If you become popular, it is always because of the worst aspects of your work. I wake up in the morning and my mind starts making sentences, and I have to get rid of them fast, talk them or write them down. To be a successful father, there's one absolute rule: when you have a kid, don't look at it for the first 2 years. Switzerland is a small, steep country, much more up and down than sideways, and is all stuck over with large brown hotels built on the cuckoo clock style of architecture. I know now that there is no one thing that is true, it is all true. From things that have happened and from things as they exist and from all things that you know and all those you cannot know, you make something through your invention that is not a representation but a whole new thing, truer than anything true and alive, and you make it alive, and if you make it well enough, you give it immortality.